innocent in SGU, and of course she puts the bad in Addington. From Supernatural, ladies and gentlemen, Alaina Huffman!
Thank you. Hi guys. How y'all doing? What's going on? Who's first time to a convention? Yeah? Awesome! So cool. Are you coming here? Are we talking, or are you just hanging out?
Oh yeah, I can come up here.
Oh, okay.
No worries.
I just was wondering. So, I kind of usually start this and I talk a little bit about myself. All right. And then I open it up to questions because it's kind of boring to talk about myself. So, I guess a little bit about me. I'm from Canada, Vancouver. I was born and raised there, but I live in Los Angeles now, and it's home. And I started my career quite young, about 12, 13 years old.
On the main stage right now, and our speaker is to be signing is at 12:30. There are 2 cash machines out under the door.
At least the wrestling kind of ceased for a second.
That's Bill.
Having some minor
He's the guy who organises this.
Right.
The one person that's allowed to interrupt.
The zombie alley is only $2 for a go. A bit more if you want to get the gun.
Should I wait? Can you guys hear me?
It's a zombie versus dinosaur.
Yeah? Okay, so I'll just keep talking. Okay. So, I started my career about like 12, 13. I did a few television shows and some children's theater, and then I was kind of discovered, I guess you would say, in a shopping mall by a scout from a modeling agency. And I was asked if I was interested in modeling, which I thought was kind of weird. And my mom and I went to the meeting with the agency, and then a few months later I was living in Tokyo. And so I spent the next several years modeling throughout Japan mainly, and then Germany. And then I moved to Texas, of all places, and I started modeling there, and I was going to college, and then I got into acting. And this was kind of the time when there was more and more actors on the covers of magazines and less models, and so there was a conscious effort to make the transition. And so I did a bunch of movies, and then I moved to LA, where I did all the work you just mentioned. And I work in Vancouver all the time. I always joke with my agents that I moved to LA to be an actor, and I cross borders to go to work. It's kind of crazy, but you know, so much shoots all over the world now, which is an amazing experience. So I'm really happy to be traveling and working. I also have 4 kids, and that's kind of my full-time job. And they're all here in New Zealand with me. So that's kind of me. If you guys have any questions.
Anyone got any questions? Come on down to the microphone. Oh, come on. That's all that.
You're not going to come down?
I'll go up. I'll come up. You don't want me coming up? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, come on down.
Because we want to see your costume. That's awesome. I love all the cosplays. Do you guys love doing cosplays? Yeah. It's like Halloween every day.
Well, without the candy.
Without like, no, there's a lot of candy.
Whoa, no. Security.
Do I like watching anime? I haven't really gotten into it, but I appreciate it, especially all the years I lived in Japan. It's interesting. I don't follow any of it. But sorry, I will get into it. Some of it's kind of risky, right? My nieces watch it, and they, you know, they're at the age where they come over to my house for like family dinners, and they like sequester themselves into the office and watch YouTube. And I look at the videos, and I'm like, they don't have any pants on. Yes. Yeah, it's cool. There's some interesting anime stuff, like living in Tokyo. I lived in Tokyo for a long time, and some of it's very interesting. Yeah, I'll just, you know what I mean, right? Okay. Thanks.
Donald Duck doesn't wear trousers either.
Oh, that's true. That risky duck. Hi.
Despite my outfit, I'm a huge Stargate fan.
Nice.
And I consider your character in Stargate Universe to be one of the strongest out of all of them. And I just, like, I know it's like a more emotional strength and not like a physical strength, but your characters go through so much. And had a lot to deal with, and I just wanted to know what you thought of Lieutenant Johansson's strength in comparison to maybe the other characters.
I wanted to start by saying, like, I loved Stargate. It was such a great time of my life, and at first the character TJ kind of bothered me. Like, I would complain to the writers, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's crying again. I felt like I said, I don't know, every episode. I was like, I don't know how to do it. And I'd get mad, and I'm like, come on, get it together. But then, as the show progressed and as the character developed, I really learned a lot from her. I felt like she was a really emotionally strong. A lot of times when women are written strong for television or for movies, they're written as female versions of a guy instead of a woman with all of her strengths. And I feel like she really had those emotional strengths as well as physical. I mean, she was every bit as capable as Scott and Greer, but I felt like she did have a much more rounded character because of that. And one of the things that I felt brought her strength was the baby storyline. So I was pregnant in real life when TJ was pregnant, and that's the best way to start a new job. We were like shooting the pilot, and I got pregnant, and I called the creators into my trailer, and I was like, hi guys, I was feeling kind of sick this weekend, and they were like, well, congratulations. And so they wrote it in, and I felt like it gave her a bit more of a storyline, because the affair between Young and TJ was really for Young's story. It wasn't for TJ's story. And so this kind of balanced her out, and I loved her. I really loved playing TJ. I thought she, I really loved how they developed that character. Unfortunately, we didn't get to tell the whole story, but it was fun while it lasted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
So, huge fan of Supernatural.
Yeah, I can tell.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You like Cass? Yeah. Who doesn't?
But I was wondering what it was like for you to work with like the cast of Supernatural and stuff, because watching their panels and stuff, they seem all like happy and energetic and all that. I was wondering if it was actually like that.
No, they're total divas. They're jerks. Honestly, they're all of them. Mark, Misha, Jared Jensen, they're just really great guys. And what you see in the panel is exactly who they are. You know, it's really interesting when you walk onto a set that's so well established, like Supernatural. You're walking into a family. It's not just the cast on the show, but it's the creators, it's the writers, it's the whole crew, which is over 200 people that work together every day. And so you really bond with these people, and when you walk onto a set that's been around for so long, you kind of just fit in, and they make you feel so comfortable. I always say the set of a television show is the tone of the set is dictated by the number 1 and number 2 on the call sheet, and that's Jared and Jensen. And they couldn't be nicer guys. Like, they're goofy, they're fun. They get it. They get what they do is awesome. They love what they do, and you know, it's a pretty amazing experience.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi.
Hi. Sorry, I'm really nervous. You've done a lot of like acting and projects throughout your life. Has that been someone who has influenced you or has given you a piece of advice that you've kept with you like throughout your career?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I remember my first contract as I was working as a model, I lived with, I was 14, and I was living with another actor whose name is Gina Holden. I don't know if you guys know Gina. She was on Flash, and not the new Flash, but an older one. Harper's Island, a bunch of shows. Anyways, Gina and I were living together, and I remember saying to her, well, if I haven't made it, or if I haven't, become what I want, I'm just gonna give up. And she said, you don't think you've made it? You're living across the world doing what you want to do. And I've held that with me because there's so many times where, you know, in Hollywood, you're kind of nobody until you're somebody, and then you're only somebody until you're nobody again. And if you can just sort of take your own success and be content with where you are in life, I think it's really powerful. And she taught me that. And you know, I still refer to that daily, almost. I think it's something that we always have to strive to recognize our own success and to be content with that.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi. I think you can move the mic.
Tilt it.
Yeah, tilt it.
Wow. Worst helper.
So, before you said that when you were playing TJ on Stargate, you said that you learned a lot from her character. Well, while playing Abaddon, did you have to, like, bring out your dark side or something?
You know, I take no credit for Abaddon. She, like, just takes over like she would, right? I don't know, I walk different, I talk different, like the whole, she's got all this swag that I don't have, I wish I had. I think it's the way she's written, I think it's the way that she developed naturally. When I got the call to be on Supernatural, I first of all was kind of shocked that the show was still on. Because I hadn't read for it and I don't watch it, and so I was like, oh, Supernatural, that show, it's still on. And so I go in for this character, and if you guys remember the first episode I show up in, I get stabbed in the back, shot in the face, and my head gets chopped off. That was my audition scene. So it's like combined into one scene, and I read it and I was like, this is so ridiculous, and yet it worked. And she was only supposed to be one episode, and then I think the fans really liked her, and I think the writers liked what I did with her, so they brought her back and they developed her. So I kind of just like the way that she developed. I like the fact that she you know, makes no apologies, and she doesn't have any human qualities, so that can be really flat, but it can also be really empowering because there's you know, she doesn't really have any faults.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Hi.
Yeah, g'day with the wrestlers.
Yes.
So over there. Just over there.
Right there.
3 o'clock.
All right.
We're wondering how you
Good
you like New Zealand?
I love New Zealand. It's so beautiful.
Done anything cool yet?
Yeah, we went to Oamaru and saw the penguins, and we just went to Queenstown. And yeah. Are you guys penguins?
Yeah.
Is that your thing? My kids came to the show in Dunedin, and they watched the wrestlers. Were you guys there?
Yeah, we were.
Okay, they loved it.
He won his first title.
Awesome! Congratulations.
Typos the champion.
Did you do the egg eating contest?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what your shirt is from?
Yeah.
Yes.
We are the Millers, not we're the Millers.
We are.
Yeah.
I've just got a question as well.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite wrestler?
Out of us.
Oh. Nice. You guys just wanted to do the handshake.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to admit, I don't really watch wrestling.
What about
I would say The Rock because he's really sexy.
Who
But
likes
so are
The
you
Rock
guys.
here? Who likes The Rock here?
Yeah.
Come on, go hang out with him. Thanks very much.
Thank you. My son learned a move from one of you guys. It was like 2 middle fingers and a punch, and he's been doing it for the last week. Run, run! Hey.
Hello.
Oh, you can move it up. There you go.
Thank you.
He earned it back.
I was just wondering, because I want to be an actress when I'm older, and I was wondering if you have any tips for me.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to be older. You can do it anytime. I always say get involved in your local community, and that could be theater, it could be commercials, it could be develop your own thing. I mean, we're in this like really precious time where you can create your own content. As actors, we don't have any control over our careers unless we create the opportunities for ourselves, or we go, you know, along the same lines as everyone before us, which is go on auditions and see what happens. But you know, it's such a crapshoot. So I always say, if you can create and develop your own projects and shoot them with your friends. I mean, we all have like iPhones and devices that we can do that. And you've got YouTube, and you've got Vimeo, and you've got all these amazing platforms to display your work. So, you know, I would say don't wait for anybody. Don't wait for anybody to tell you you can do it. Just do it. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
On Supernatural, Jensen and Jared have been known for practical jokes. I was wondering whether Supernatural or any of your other shows, have you committed a practical joke yourself, or is there one that stood out to you?
I don't think I'm that clever. They're quite clever, especially Misha. Misha's super clever, but Jared and Jensen are kind of punks and they do all the jokes. They haven't done any on me. I think they're scared. I'm just saying. But on Stargate, the pilot episode we shot was 3 parts, so it took like 3 weeks to shoot it, or almost a month to shoot it. And if you guys remember, at the beginning, Colonel Young, Louis Ferreira, comes flying through the Stargate and he is knocked unconscious. And then I spend the whole first 3 episodes like weeping over him, which is another thing that bothered me about my character. But because he was like unconscious for the first 3 episodes, props gave us a fart machine. And that's how we got to know the cast and the crew really well. So Louis and I were like 5 years old for a month. It was so fun. We would like just see how people react to him hitting the fart machine, and people's reactions are priceless.
Yeah, if I were in your shoes, I would have done the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's fun. You might as well have fun when you go to work. Yeah.
Then it's not work at all, it's just something you really enjoy.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi.
What was your favourite episode that you were on Supernatural?
They've all been really fun. I think the episode that really stands out for me was Mother's Little Helper, and that's the one that Misha directed. And when you walk into a show that's so well established and they create opportunities for the cast and for the crew to develop their talents further, it's really amazing to watch this whole community come together and support this individual. And so that was the case in Mother's Little Helper. Misha was directing, and though Jared and Jensen really wanted to prank him, and they did quite well. I think Jared almost broke Misha's nose. They really wanted to support him also, and so you see that community, like I said, sort of come together, and I've seen it several times. On Smallville, I saw Tom Welling and Allison Mack and all of these characters, move into behind the camera, into producing and into directing and stuff like that. So not only did I like it from a story point, because it was Abaddon's backstory and Josie's backstory, but also from the perspective of developing and nurturing people in the community. Thanks.
Who would be your favorite character?
On anywhere?
Anywhere.
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really hard. I mean, there's so many great characters that I love on different shows. I mean, one that stands out was Breaking Bad. I love Breaking Bad. Maybe because you're sitting right there and you're yellow. I love playing Abaddon. I think she's such a fun character. I couldn't have, created a better character for myself to play with. I love the Black Canary. She was a lot of fun to play too on Smallville. So I don't know, there's just so many. I love Game of Thrones. All of those characters are so amazing. Who's your favorite character? Who?
He's from Black Panther.
Oh, nice. Very cool. I like it. I like your hair. If I could rock blue hair and get work, I would totally rock blue hair.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi.
Hi. Oh my gosh, I'm calm.
You got this.
Okay. So I'm on Osric Chow's Gishwa's team.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and I wanted to know, as far as I know, you haven't been in an episode with him on Supernatural?
No, I don't think so.
Have you met him at conventions, and if so, is he like what you expected?
Yeah, I love Osric.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Yeah, he's great. He's exactly what you would expect from him, from his social media presence, and yeah, he's a fun guy. They call him Master Chow.
Oh yeah, we call him Master Chow too. He gets lots of crap from us.
He's awesome. I love Osric.
Yeah, he's wonderful. Thank you for answering my question, and thank you for being here. And totally come. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey.
Hi. I was just wondering what your favourite scene from Universe was with TJ.
There's one in particular that stands out for me, and it was, I don't even remember the episode name. Paul Milley wrote it, and it was about when TJ thinks that her baby is alive and she wants to convince Young of that. It was a really powerful moment where he was really stressed out and couldn't really believe that, you know, what she was seeing. He thought she was kind of delusional. And I remember after we wrapped that, Paul, who wrote the episode, just came up to me and gave me this big hug and kind of didn't let go. And I was like, oh good, I did a good job. Yeah, so that one kind of stands out for that reason.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey.
Hi.
I was wondering if there was any other character on Supernatural you could have played with
Oh, Crowley.
Sorry, I'm Team Crowley.
No, you're not. You should move.
Team Abaddon.
Okay, I didn't get that whole campaign thing. I don't know why we had to have a campaign. Obviously, he's got like 5 years of the fandom on me. I had like 2 episodes, right? Did that make any sense to anybody? Okay, I'm just saying. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to play Crowley. Yeah. Thanks. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm good now. Just wondering, I ask a lot of the actors and things when they come, like, watching yourself in the show, does that mess you up a little bit? Like, do you sort of pick out your little faults and little, I don't like how I said that, or I don't like how I did something, and do you critique yourself when you're watching yourself?
Yes, it's horrible. It's like listening to your answering machine, and you're like, oh, that's what I sound like? It's horrible.
Or hearing yourself through the microphone, it's horrible.
It's horrible, right? Yeah, I mean...
She sounds lovely through the microphone.
Yeah, no, it is. It's hard. I had a New Year's resolution was to watch my stuff when it aired, and you know, a lot of the studios and the networks are asking us to live tweet. That's kind of really contractual now. When you're entering into new contracts, they're asking you to have a social media presence and to live tweet episodes and things like that. So I find ensembles are much easier to watch because there's less screen time. I can handle myself for a little bit, but also, you know, athletes have to watch themselves. Like that's part of their training is to watch their tape. And so I've sort of tried to adapt that philosophy of watching myself and critiquing it and being aware. It's hard though. Yeah, it kind of sucks.
It's not hard for me to watch you.
Well, thank you.
Hi. I was wondering, Stargate Universe ended with one of the worst possible behaviours ever. Would there ever be a chance of you and the others getting together to finish it off with audiobooks?
Oh, I never heard that option. Well, first of all, it didn't end. It got cancelled. Right.
It's on hiatus.
It's on permanently. Yeah, you know how we found out we were cancelled? Yeah, you heard this story? We found it on Twitter. That was awesome. It's like the best way to lose your job 3 days before Christmas. Especially when you're the creator of the show. Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of support. And, you know, I don't know why. People say, oh, it was a darker show. I didn't like it because it was a departure from the Stargate. But the fact of the matter is they didn't like it when it was announced. I think a lot of people just didn't want Atlantis to end, which I totally understand. But they were separate shows, and Atlantis ended, and I don't think we were given that much of a chance. In fact, we were protested. Like I remember going to work the first several months of work, and there were like people going, "Go home, we hate you." I was like, but I just want to feed my kids. Yeah, so that was kind of an interesting experience. Audiobooks. Yeah, I guess. I mean, everyone's kind of working. Everyone's doing their own thing now, and everyone's really busy. So I think an audiobook would probably be the most realistic opportunity to get everyone together. If you want to write one. Yeah, you should write one and let us know.
www.kickstarter.com.
There we go. Kickstart an SGU audiobook. Hi.
Hi. Who's your favorite out of Jensen, Jared, and Misha?
I get this question a lot. I don't know why you have to pick. They're all very great. Can't you have them all?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's really tough to go to work, you guys. Yeah, I don't have a favorite. They're really nice guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
We were just wondering if we could please have a hug.
Yeah, come on. You gonna come here?
3-second rule. Okay.
What are you gonna do? Body slam them?
You never know. It's the small ones that I'm.
Yeah, like Osric. He's small, he's squirrely, but he's strong. Hi.
Hello. Did you buy any souvenirs from any of the shows you've been on?
Did I? Well, I have my chair backs. You know, we have the director's chairs with our names in them. I have mine from Stargate, from Supernatural. I think I have one from Smallville. That's about it. Usually what happens when you wrap a show, especially one like Stargate, you don't know it's going to end until, you know, a few months later, and so you can't really take anything. It's all locked and until they auction it all off, which they had a big auction for Stargate. Yeah, no souvenirs.
Nothing slipped its way into the purse on the way.
No. No. There are some things I wanted though. Like I wanted from Stargate, I wanted a Kino, those little flying balls. They don't actually fly, but I still think they'd look good on a bookshelf. Yeah, I should call somebody about that. Yeah, thanks. Hello.
Hi. I was wondering if you wanted to, like, what you would think about like your character on like Arrow or something, because there's now Black Canary on Arrow as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen Arrow. I get compared a lot to the Black Canary on Arrow, and I from what I understand, they're not really following the mythology of the character, right? But that's the nice thing about an interpretation of a character is. You know, the Green Arrow and the Black Canary have been written so many times and in so many different ways, and there is a mythology and an arc to their storyline, but at the same time there's a lot of different takes on it, so I don't know what would happen, you know, with my character on that show. I know that that was supposed to be Justin's show. The Green Arrow or Star City or whatever the spin-off was supposed to be, but apparently it's very successful, so I think whatever they're doing good. Yeah, thanks.
Hi, I was just wondering, for Abaddon, did you watch anything, movies or TV, to get inspiration? Because you said she was such an emotionless kind of character.
Yeah, no, I try not to. I try not to do too much, you know, unless it's based on a character like the Black Canary, which I did some research on. But other than that, I try to just sort of create a character from what's written and what I've, you know, been inspired to do. And also talking to the writers and where they want to go with her. So one of the things with Abaddon, when Josie chose to be possessed by Abaddon, or asked to be possessed by Abaddon, it wasn't only to save Henry, but it was her sort of feminist ideals that she wanted to break the glass ceiling, and I wanted to portray that because I think that was an important plot point for her, because she felt, you know, women would be underestimated and that she could be more powerful as a woman. And because I think when they killed me, they were going to bring her back as a man, because Abaddon is a male demon. But I don't know, the fans liked me, so they kept me. Until they killed me again, but whatever.
Thank you.
Yeah, I told them they should keep me around for therapy. I'm like, you can get out all your mommy issues on me. Call me names, chop my head off, it's all good. Hi. I loved working on Smallville. It was a really warm, friendly set to work on. A lot of the people from Smallville did go over to Arrow, and so I know a lot of that crew. You know, the Black Canary is such a great character. I'm really glad that she's such a big part of pop culture right now, and I feel grateful that I helped bring her there. I think before that, you know, she's big in the DC universe, but she wasn't really popular in terms of pop culture. But she's cool. She's a great character. I think she's really strong. She's emotionally, you know, she's got, you know, ups and downs, and she's got this sort of love-sick relationship with the Green Arrow, and and this really interesting relationship with him. She's got a lot of levels, which is really great for an actor to play with. So I loved having all of that to draw from, and I think they underutilized her. I feel like there was much more storyline to tell. Unfortunately, when you walk into a show that is so established, that's got all these characters that they've got on contract, you know, they've got to write for everybody, and sometimes it's hard to get the right storylines in place. So I felt like there was more story to tell there, but you know, I get what happened.
And just finally, if DC offered you a spin-off show or a role in a movie as Black Canary, would you think?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Again, I think she's such a cool character. I think that there's so many stories of hers to tell, and I think she's a really strong female character. Yeah, I think they should do a movie, right? I mean, Marvel's certainly doing enough movies. Thank you.
I've got a question. So you're talking about how you know, unless it's a character like Black Canary, you research. How much research do you do for Charlize Theron?
The faux Charlize Theron?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a little short I did with my friend, and it was all improv. It was called Lushes, and a dear friend of mine is this great independent filmmaker, and so he called me one Saturday morning, and he's like, hey, can you come shoot a scene with us? And it's about this woman who drinks a lot, and I read the script, and it was kind of funny. So we go, and we're shooting outside of this bar, and she comes out all drunk, and it was, again, nothing was scripted, it was all sort of improv. And I was like, listen, Anna Nicole Smith. And she threw her feathers at me, and she's like, Charlize, you need to go home. And that's how that character was named, faux Charlize Theron.
Have you ever met the real Charlize Theron?
I haven't, but I love her. I think she's such a phenomenal actor, and she's so amazing. She's definitely someone who inspires me.
Yeah, she's almost as good as this actress, Alaina Huffman. Really?
Oh yeah, that chick. Hi.
I really love what you said about Josie choosing to take in Abaddon, and I was wondering what you think about how they get along. And Josie said, well, Abaddon was possessing her until the
Again, how do I feel Josie like how did she sort of judge what Abaddon did with her?
Yeah.
I think she'd be happy. Right? I mean, the thing that I liked about the Josie storyline is that it gave Abaddon some layers, and when you're playing a character that is this sort of one-dimensional bad guy, which you know is why they gave Crowley so many human characteristics, because there's only so far you can go with it. There's only so much depth you can add to a character that is, you know, a bad guy. So I liked the Josie storyline because I feel like it gave her a lot of layers to play with, and I also wanted the audience to like her and to connect with her. And I feel like there was some heartbreaking moments in Mother's Little Helper. This is a conversation that I had with Misha. Is, you know, Josie was sort of in love with Henry but couldn't have him, and I didn't want her to be like this shallow homewrecker. I wanted her to be this sort of lovesick protege of Henry's, and I wanted the audience to connect with her, because if they don't connect with her, then what's the point? You know, she's just this one-dimensional character. So I think Josie would have been kind of happy. I think she, you know, served a purpose. I think she was sort of lonely as it is. That being said, I feel like if they were to bring her back, bring Josie back, I think she would be a huge asset to the boys, because she really was responsible for bringing the men of letters and all of that knowledge that they're using now. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like Josie actually has a great storyline as well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. So Team Crowley, huh?
Yeah, it's good to be bad.
Yeah, it is good to be bad. It's a fun character to play.
So, you're no stranger to playing animated characters in real life. Painkiller Jane?
Yeah.
You're involved in that project. What was that like?
That was fun. That was my first show that I was a series regular on. It didn't last very long, and they didn't have a good production value, I think.